The film Hobson's Choice. It's set in a cobbler's shop in Salford in 1880. It's about a cantankerous old father who's trying to control his daughters. But for this shot here they decided to use a location in Stockport. This was shot around about 1953. Will Mossop waits for his bride Maggie, and in the distance on the skyline, Stockport Power Station dominates. Opened in the late 1890s, it was closed in 1976 and demolished in the early 80s. Gone without a trace. Or has it? Hello, my name is Martin.
Welcome back
to another video.
To another video indeed. Stockport Power Station. One of the early power stations that was just built for a town, the town of Stockport. Built in the mid to late 1890s and it was closed in 1976. It actually got demolished in the early 80s and it's gone without a trace. If you look for it today, it's completely gone. There was a gasworks next to it and there's some evidence of where the old gasometers used to be, but the power station has gone. As you've probably seen by now, we've discovered that some of the underground internal structure is still there. So come with us today because the kernel of the video is the power station, but it ends up leaching out into some cultural references, and it goes back, or part of the story goes back to the late 1700s and the old water tunnels, the ancient corn mill tunnels of Stockport.
Right, knackered, and I'm not looking forward to what's in front of us because we don't know what we're going down into. This is horrendous. What is this we're in at the moment?
Catch your breath, yeah. A stoop fest, sooty pint, that's what we're in, and basically...
You take us to some place.
I know, yeah, sorry. We had to have a look though, didn't we? It's been, and now we've put this off, but yeah, it's a sooty mess, but it's basically a pipe that functions for taking water away from the system. They divert it when they obviously close it off for maintenance below the old electricity works power station that we're going to go and have a look at. And then the water will come up here at high pressure and high volumes of water. We're not talking trickles in here. This would have been full to the brim with high pressure water. I don't know what your thoughts are on that now. I've told you where we're going down behind your camera in a minute.
Right, so now we have to slide down there. It's about 40 feet and I don't know what's at the bottom. It might be, from what we've heard, it's pretty solid, but I can see water. So, let's go.
You're gonna, don't know you'll get down with your bright torch. Whose f***ing silly idea was this then?
Oh, I wonder.
Martin always wanted to look under Stockport. So we found a suitable slide to take him down. Oxygen levels okay. Just shut. Right. What is it? Okay.
Right down there.
He's not going to ping back up.
Right, I think if we get Martin down, then Parker can slide things down.
You need to try and weigh that right thing now.
Right, do you want me to come down there? I am not looking forward to this.
Oh, you can fall out there? Yeah, it's not.
Not really fixing it on, James.
Right, I'm coming down.
Okay.
Going down. Sliding a bit. Okay, don't mind it.
Yeah, okay, any fuel can slide down that. It's getting out that's the problem. At the bottom of that is a water tunnel there. I'll be talking about that more soon. So that's one side. Facing that is something else.
On the masks are for dust particles, that's all, not for gas. Okay, so we're in this stinking shithole. Awful place. Don't ever want to come back again, but anyway, we need to crack on. I'll show you what's in front of us, and the most intimidating thing ever.
So this penstock, this round circular gate thing you're looking at that's almost down, we were under the impression, and this is why we're talking about our thoughts and fears about this video, we were under the impression it was rock solidly rusted in place and it was not going anywhere. Now, if you imagine this penstock's on a mechanism, a metal mechanism, it's not on cables, I don't think, it's on a metal mechanism somewhere above it. Long ago, 48 years ago, that winding mechanism has been rusting away and this penstock's there. So we get to the penstock, think it's rusted in place. We get to it and it moves. It moves not up and down, just backward and forward in its track. So looking for things to wedge, because I know you're going to say wedge some under it, all the rest of it. We took some axle stands and we couldn't, when you put the axle stands in that would support a car, you've now made the gap too narrow, you're not getting in. Should we jack it up? Possibly, but you try and get a jack where we went, and also, will it jack up? What's the mechanism like? Would it jack up? And if you do, would you just loosen the whole thing and the whole thing then comes down? So you're possibly creating problems. So you've got this, what's the word? You've got this Russian roulette where each one of you has got to go through without the penstock falling down on you. Now, like I say, I'm very interested to know whether this thing has been like that since 1976 when they closed the power station, or has it worked its way down? I don't know, but whatever gap you see, it's lower than what you think. And when I go under, there's some footage of me going under and I think Roy going under, you'll see just how low it goes and how much we have to squeeze in. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you this because I know that you'll probably be asking questions and some of you might be thinking, that looks easy. Some might be thinking, no way, Jose. And I don't blame you. Anyway, let's crack on with the story.
I don't like to go forwards or backwards. Does it matter if it comes down on you, which way you're facing? Because it'll just squash your chest.
You've got an axle stand in.
About it and just do it.
Can you put me out of my misery if I do get trapped? Like, how can you do that?
Can't.
No. Right, we cannot afford to kick this fucker. Right, wish me luck.
Where's that other axle stand? It's there, isn't it?
You've got to get your legs under it first. Is it just me who feels a bit apprehensive? Anyone else feeling it?
Yes.
Okay.
So just don't touch it is the matter.
Let me come back before gas is getting caught. Okay. We're going to get wet and filthy. Was I kicking it much?
No, he was just kicking the thing.
Where can I put that out of the way? Are you filming? Right, is my bum past it?
Yeah, just keep low.
See, that stand's come loose.
Right, it's okay, I've got the stand. Keep going.
Oh, stop, pull me.
What's up? What's up?
I don't know.
You got a bit of finger.
I had a bit of a moment there. I'm feeling a bit weirded out by it. I think we need some.
Keep me.
He'll easily go under that.
Just give me a sec. Just watching me clearing it.
I am. You should have rolled your waders down just to stop any rub, maybe. I would have done. Yeah, not on the penstock, dude. Come on.
Just can you get behind them?
Not really. Yeah, right, that's cleared him, I think. Just... Jesus Christ. Right, you're under. I can't clear my belly.
Push me.
Put your head sideways.
Yeah.
Yep. You're under.
Now remember, there's a bit of a drop in a minute.
Can you just push me, please?
Right.
Now, in case that comes down and we get trapped in there, there's some fresh water going through and some snacks just to keep me going until I can get out. It was planned for a few of us to go through, but it's only me.
You need to be very careful, Roy, because...
What?
You need to be very careful because I struggle.
I don't think I'm going to fit, and I think if Jay's is going to struggle, we just let you go and do the video.
Why'd you pick the stinkiest place to do
I know, yeah.
an intro or piece to camera? Right, so as you can imagine, this place caused us some worry. Not the nicest place to get in. There's bits of it that I haven't shown you, that I can't show you, that were perhaps a little bit just as nerve-wracking where we actually gained access, for want of a better word. We went twice. We went twice to this place. The first time we went, we weren't fully equipped. He doesn't want me to say that, but we realised we probably needed a little bit more equipment. And in that intervening time, between the first go and the next go, I'll let you say.
Well, I think I'll reintroduce you to your nightmares again. And I know I've took you to some formidable places over the years, and as you described, probably horrific in your words. Nightmares did you have?
Yeah, and I'm not joking. There were times where I kind of woke up in the morning. You know, you're at that low spot when you first wake up in the morning, and I was thinking, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can go back, because I had to contemplate my own death. And I thought, well, I'm doing it for the footage. I need that footage. You might think I'm exaggerating, but that penstock.
Very unnerving, I think. It's very unnerving.
Yeah. Okay, so here's some pictures of the power station. It operated just over 76 years between about 1898 and 1976, depending on what source you look at. For me, it was quite unique in that it had this big concrete cooling tower, and it had two wooden cooling towers as well. The initial demand for power was from the Stockport tram system, but during the 1920s and the 1930s, domestic and industrial demand was growing. Now, despite the fact that I can find quite a few pictures of the power station, information isn't forthcoming, but it appears to have undergone a few refurbishments and upgrades during its lifetime. From what I can work out, one of them seems to have been in the 1930s and one of them seems to have been in the 1950s. So in the opening scene to this video, I showed you a shot, and it was across Stockport. And it was from the film Hobson's Choice, and it was the church where Will Mossop and Maggie got married. Now, although the film was set in Salford, they must have used this location for that shot with the town in the background. And you saw that Stockport Power Station was in the background. So I wanted to find the church. Now, it turns out there's a couple of things. The front of the church that I showed you looks like it was superimposed on, because it was based here in Stockport on Lancashire Hill at the old Hanover Chapel. Guess what? The Hanover Chapel has now long since been pulled down. There's a photo that Shirley Baker took here of one of the, like an obelisk, like a big grave sort of memorial. All gone. This is the best I can do for you. And if you want to know where I am, we're at the site of the old Tiviot Dale station. It's in this location. We have trekked through the woods round here trying to work out where this Hanover Chapel was. It was here. Everything's gone. Everything's gone. And as always, dense woodland covers everything, which is difficult to work out, but we're pretty much on the right side here. So unfortunately, I wanted to recreate that scene for you, looking across Stockport, minus the power station, but I can't. I even wanted to try and find you that obelisk, that gravestone, but I can't. But we know that they shot a scene from Hobson's Choice here, and Shirley Baker come here and took an iconic photograph. So, as cultural references go, this one has failed. So here it is, the Hanover Chapel, absolutely beautiful, built in 1821 and demolished or vandalised in the 1960s. It was just on Lancashire Hill. This is a rather eerie photograph of it in the 1840s. I think that was worth putting in that, it was so eerie. And here it is on the old maps, and you can see if we bring time forward on the maps and we go to the more modern maps, you can see where it was. Just on Lancashire Hill, and there you go, that's where it was. Now all is not lost, because there is a modern day nod to the Hanover Chapel, and here it is. There you go, Stockport. You lost a little gem, but you've got this now as a nod to it. Now in the meantime, I'm still on the other side of the penstock. Now opposite the penstock, at the bottom of this thing, this slide that was slid down, this shaft thing, is that a water-filled tunnel opposite the penstock. So I've gone one way, this is what's opposite. This is part of the story, because this water-filled tunnel brought water into the power station for the boilers and for the turbines and for cooling and all sorts of things. And so Marcus now is going to take you along here and show you this water tunnel. Now what you're looking at is an extension to the old cornmill tunnels of Stockport, and I'm going to look at them in a separate video.
As you can see, the further you go, the deeper the water gets. Eventually it's the roof. So from here, this is the pipe that was put in to extend Stringer's Tunnel all the way to the power station. They were going to use the water that was being used at Stringer's Tunnel, and they were going to make it so they could cool down the towers. But as you can see up there, it reaches the roof, and there's no point going any further, because then I'd be swimming. But I tell you, this place gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't like being here. It's quite horrible. As you can see, my hands shaking. I don't like it. But there's James.
Yo, yo.
As soon as I got at the bottom of that slide, I thought, no. I mean, you saw it in the video, that is daunting. So,
which bit was daunting, the slide or?
The slide was fine,
yeah.
But the actual penstock itself, I thought, if you imagine going under that, even if you do successfully get under that and it dropped, you're stuck in there. So I thought, if we all went under in a group, can you imagine we're all stuck in there, no help, that's it. I'd be sat at the other side just in case anything were to go wrong and I could go call for help. But that second time, I was determined to do it again, but I thought, no, I'm going to hold myself back.
Right, so this is St Mary's Church in Stockport. It's on a hillside, and we're going to use it as a marker, as an anchor point for when I'm looking at maps with you and when I'm looking at Britain from above and Google Earth and everything. It's got a vantage point and it looks over Stockport, and it looks towards, or part of it looks towards the where the power station was. Now for the purposes of this video we're calling it Stockport Power Station, but locally it was known as Millgate Power Station. Okay, so where was Stockport Power Station? Well, as I said, I'm going to use St Mary's Church as an anchor point, and I've took this image from Google Earth and I've tried to orientate it as best I can to the following Britain from above picture I'm going to give you. Right, so things to note. Obviously St Mary's Church, Great Portwood Street. In the middle, you'll see a section of trees, and they cut between the buildings. That's the River Goyt, and it swings round towards underneath St Mary's Church. The power station complex was on both sides of the river. Look to the lower middle left of the picture there. See the circles? Those were gasometers, and those were part of the gasworks, which is now again long since gone. So fix all that in your head, okay? Because I'm now going to show you how it was. There you go, 1946. Incredible, isn't it? You see the gasworks there, and you'll see the cooling tower. And left of the cooling tower, you'll note the two dark buildings. That's the wooden cooling towers. Behind them is the actual power station, and where the cooling tower is now a retail park. People are buying things, sitting, having coffee. All this has gone without a trace. The only permanent thing is the river that's still there, and even there they've built an Asda over the river. So yeah, quite a contrast. Let's just go back to the original picture and see how it is now. Now, if you're under 45 years old, you won't remember Stockport Power Station. You'll only know the busy roads around the retail park and the place where you go and do your shopping. But having looked at that picture, we now know what was there. Anyway, I went underneath that penstock into the actual power station tunnels. So let's go and catch up with where I'm up to. So as I progress down this tunnel, now all alone, the voices of the guys behind me become more and more muffled and more distant. There was a sense of urgency in me to get this footage and relish the experience, but get back out of that one and only escape route that I knew was waiting for me, and I had to go back underneath it when I'd done all this. I'd actually almost pleaded with the guys not to mess or touch that penstock or disturb it anymore. Even though we'd brought some fresh water on my side of the penstock and some Mars bars and supplies in case I got trapped in there, the idea that they would move it or disturb it and it would come crashing down was foremost in my mind. I had seen pictures of these tunnels and knew roughly what to expect, but there was more to it than what I'd seen before. Water would have rushed down here at very high pressure, very high levels and very high pressure to feed the boilers and to feed the cooling system for the power station. Difficult to date these tunnels exactly because they possibly always have been here since it was constructed in 1898, although I did show you a picture earlier that was dated 1929.
Even that's old, isn't it? Because it was that.
Okay, this shot speaks volumes to me. Look at all that rubble. That's from the power station that's been demolished above, and it's just been pushed on top of these tunnels. So all these mechanisms for these penstocks are just buried amongst rubble. Crazy, innit?
like. So here's other penstocks here that have been concreted in. That seems to go around there. As you can see, there's huge penstocks there. So God knows where that winding mechanism is now. It's buried somewhere. Look at the bricks up there. It's buried somewhere underneath obviously long since shut. What is it? 40 years that these have been shut. Another penstock here. Let's have a look inside there. Looks like it goes to some sort of, look at the big grill there. What can only describe as a lobster pot. Going around the corner. More penstocks here. I suppose these were different ones that fed different areas of the power station, really. I'll have a look under there in a minute for you. Just want to see how far we can go here. You see that big grill again there?
I was reluctant to go inside one of those little chambers because even though these things look rusted in place, if I get trapped in there, I'm a goner. The big meshes on the sides were very impressive.
Now that's a big door there, so I'm a bit wary about going underneath that one on my own. Let's have a look inside here. There you go. And then big grills, then big filters. So that must have took it straight in, so up into the machinery because it's filtering it, innit? Underneath here.
Very little risk of gas in there, although I did have a gas monitor. And in terms of rescue, I think, I'm not going to go into detail, but I think the rescue services had another way in that wasn't as dangerous as the way that we had to go in.
It goes on. I'm a bit wary about this door. I'm a bit very wary about this door. Yeah, don't particularly want to go underneath that, but I suppose it hasn't moved for a long time, so we'll go underneath. All sorts of rope here from people who've been before. Shit, shite and confetti.
So now I've gone under that second large penstock that looked like it was rusted in place. Now I really feel cut off from the rest of the guys. And the water now is going to get deeper and deeper. It gets up to about my waist at some points. This is how I felt. That's how I felt down here, and I'm not joking when you see that poster. Now you can see where the water's been up to, and you'll see we're in a sandstone tunnel now. This is older than the power station. This, I suspect, is part of the old watermill tunnels of Stockport, but we're going to go into that in a separate video.
So it's all sandstone. That's Stockport's natural rock mass. Yep. That's about as far as I'm going to go because it's getting quite silty. You know I don't like silt. We'll just go along this edge here. Oh, that's awful. Okay, so this looks like it might be Journey's End. Possibly. I'm about there. And there is a set of steps there. We go up. see where that goes. If I can cross over here, I will do. This is horrible because I'm on my own. And my light's not the best. So I'll set steps here. I should presume this is the old corn mill tunnels. So there's various intakes and outtakes here. We're coming back round on ourselves now. And that's blocked up at the end there, I don't know if you can see it. It's completely blocked up. So this would have been probably another turnaround where it sent the water round somewhere. Let's go to the end. There you go, completely bricked up there. So let's go back.
As I walk back out of this tunnel and leave, is that a watermark at the top there? Is that how high the water's been at some point? Scary.
So there is actually a way up there that goes to a looks like a manhole, but that might be covered over that manhole. But there's another chamber up there, so what you'd need is a ladder really to go up there and have a look in there. I really don't know what's in there. I'll try and put the GoPro up.
So I did send the GoPro up there, but it was just pitch black. You couldn't see a thing, even with my light shining up into it. So I'm heading back now out of this place, back under the penstock of second death.
I'm going to go back towards the penstock and then get some photographs. Quite a big chamber, a lot of vegetation coming through there. Right, can you drag me out?
Right, cultural reference number 2. This is Hope's car in Stockport. We're just round the corner from Strawberry Studios. A famous photo was taken here of the band Joy Division. They stood here, and the only reference we've got, because it looks very different to the way it did in 1979 when the photo was took, is that building there, that old building there, right? And in the photo, the cooling tower is just to the back of the roof, and the top of the power station is just above the roof there. That's the best I can do for you. The rest of it is changed. There's a new building down there. Well, this is here. This is where Joy Division had that photo took. So Stockport Power Station managed to sneak into that one as well. The other thing that Hope's car is famous for is that there was 4th of June 1967 was a very, very tragic plane crash here in Stockport. That's what those two sort of like big sculptures are for there. They mark out the fact that there was a plane crash here. Obviously that's not a part of our story, but I just thought I'd mention that because Hope's car is famous for 2 reasons. Now, the single concrete cooling tower was built in 1943. But having dominated the skyline of Stockport for just over 80 years, it was time for demolition. And the power station, like I say, closed down in 1976. Judging by those pictures, it looks like the cooling tower was blasted in 1981, and then in the subsequent years, 1982, 3 and 4, the rest of the power station was taken down.
Right, so obviously we got in, we've now got to get out up the shaft. James is going first. Go for it, lad.
Go on, pal. He was proud.
How do we get up? But once we did it, it was all right, but it was just horrendous trying to get down there, and it was covered in black. And then seeing that penstock wobble when Roy was trying to get through, it was just gives you nightmares. It was awful, and it was hard. It was physically hard. The next day, my legs were aching, and then having dreams of trying to getting stuck under that penstock was just like gives you nightmares.
Shit. Take your time. That's just up the road.
When I get to the top.
Yeah. There's like that light quite bright. Put that light down.
Keep it on the road for a minute. Established. When we went back, I think I'd had too many Kronenbergs and a Wetherspoon's breakfasts. I just couldn't quite inch under, and I actually caught it, and it was moving a little bit, and it was a bit unnerving.
It's that middle bit there is so bad.
Yeah, no.
So all of a sudden, instead of it just being in the middle, it's all over the wall.
So what you have to do is, you have to use your brain and put your braking finger on it. Keep on that. So the other root's going to hit in. Not the handle, how easy it is now. You just put a loop in.
If I can't do that with
You can, every metre.
with one handful.
Put a loop in.
Yeah, I'll do that with one hand.
So despite the slipping and the exhaustion of getting back up that shaft, we all got out safely. But that explore certainly gave us the creeps, all of us, to be honest with you. It gave us some nightmares, that. Anyway, what have we got next time? Well, you've heard us talking about the water tunnels of Stockport, and those water tunnels were employed to deliver water to the power station. Sort of old technology meets new technology. Well, in the next video we'll be looking at those old water tunnels underneath Stockport.
Right, what have you got us into?
Right, I'm getting stuck. I'm stuck.